cash flow is king. Whatever you do, if it's not cash flowing, it's a liability almost all day. Like, I'm focused on income producing activities. Like, how am I growing my income for the company?
This is the Snowball Effect. You're listening to the Marketing Playbook series, presented by the Snowball Effect Podcast. It's growth done right.
Hey, welcome to the Snowball Effect Podcast. This is our Marketing Playbook series, and our goal here is really simple. We want to give you concrete strategies you can use right now to grow your business, but today, especially your moving business, because I've got a guest that I'm really stoked about. I've got Austin Yarborough on the podcast today. How you doing, Austin?
Hey, doing well today, Todd. Thanks for having me on here.
Austin is the CEO of Central Coast Moving and Storage, of Lucky Day Moving and Storage. But if that's not enough, he also is the CEO of Moving Army. So this guy is up to his eyeballs in the moving industry. Austin, it's so great to have you on the podcast.
Thank you. As a client of Snowball, really appreciate the opportunity to share some knowledge, some best practices. And, by the end of this podcast, hopefully the end user gets some $10,000 of value at least from the both of them.
I saw you on the Movified podcast and you said, I'm thinking about how to, get more brand awareness. And you said, why dump all this money into paid ads when I could be getting PR from telling my origin story? Tell me a little bit about what you're thinking there.
Yeah. So, let's start with ads in general, right? So here's your business. Use some paid ads because you have a weak brand, and then you build your business. Well, now it's so big, you have so many fixed costs, you have such a big team, you can't get off the Google drug. You can't get off the Yelp drug. You can't get off the paid ad drug, LSAs and PPC. So when you build a brand, though, it's an organic growth that is consistent revenue. So you're not stuck using one type of lead source. And that's why I say that. And then, I'm sure a lot of us have heard the term one to many. Well, one to many, I say it one time, it goes to many people is what it's referring to. So I tell my story one time, give it to the paper, throw some money behind it, like $1,000. It's pretty, and then I have 30,000 impressions. And everyone thinks that paid ads are the way to go. But look, you're going just to one user. I went with that each paid ad, and that's a one time, that's like a little one night stand, right? But what if I went to the whole community, 200,000 people in San Luis Obispo County with Central Coast Moving, and then they're going to refer me too. So in reality, I'm planting seeds all over while you're just paying for one little seed for one little client. That is longevity. That's how you build a brand.
First of all, I love that one to many, concept. I can tell you've just got marketing in your DNA there, but I'm also intrigued by this origin story type of angle here. What is it about your origin story that you think connects and that you think makes it worthy of people sharing and getting that attention?
Yeah, I think that a lot of people, so the number one thing with content and all these things is relatability, is that it's relatable. I'm middle class white boy, maybe lower middle class white boy. How many lower middle class white boys are out there growing their business, inspiring, that can connect with it, or that our homeowner looking to move, or a business owner, a lot of us. And so there's nothing really super special about just my story, but it's the fact of that, having a story, humanizing my brand, who I am, people getting to know me. How are they going to refer you if they don't know you? Everyone talks about what we do. I want to know who you are. The man behind the moving truck is what I want to introduce to my community. I'm not a mover. I'm a serial entrepreneur that loves marketing, that loves to give back to his community, that will outwork almost anyone that you put in front of me. And I build others around me. And I'll tell you that through my origin story.
Give me some highlights there, because I'm super intrigued.
So you want to, there's obviously something, everyone has a story, right? And their story deserves to be told, and on podcasts just like this. So a big thing in my life was that a traumatic incident. So you got to isolate a traumatic incident, is that my dad got 3rd-degree burns on his arms, as I was a kid. And so I was in 4th grade, And it was really weird too, because we were driving to school and we are talking about like what would be the worst way to die. And my mom was like, "Oh, getting burned alive." And I was like, "Oh my goodness." I thought like starving would have been the worst, but no, burned alive. And then so my dad, like near death experience, he was in the hospital for 40 days, 40 nights. I ended up staying at my aunt and uncle's house for the entire summer. And then that's where I learned business. I mean, I have a freaking tattoo on my arm, like where we spread my uncle's ashes. Later, he got ALS and passed
Wow.
away. But like that's like a traumatic thing, like something that's called, if you follow Russell Brunson, it's called the hero's journey, right? And people want to hear about the hero's journey. Like, how else do you become a hometown hero if there's no journey with it, right? Like you want to hear a heroic overcome story. And like I'm just a lower, middle class white boy, but I've also overcome some adversity in my life and shown that like what it like how my life came to be. Like I went to college, I saw all these modern day things that they were doing in business. I worked for a franchise, two men in a truck. They were like, I felt like I was just a mule hauling shit up a mountain. I
Did
wanted to
you do
treat
that in
people with.
college? Were you working for two men in a truck in college? Is that what you
Yeah.
were doing?
Oh yeah, yeah. I was flipping chicken in college until I found moving, and I loved it. Like I just loved the responsibility. I loved the camaraderie. I loved the industry, and I was like, damn, you can make a lot of money doing this. And people pay a lot of money to move their furniture, and so
Right.
I just went after it. You know.
So tell me
So
about that pivot. Okay, you're flipping chicken, you start working the trucks. When does this become a career for you? What was that moment
yeah.
where you're just like, this is what I'm going to be doing?
hmm So, I mean, it was actually my grandma. The next truck we have, it's gonna be named Nana. It's probably gonna be the next new truck we buy. She recently passed away, so But
That's that
so
that
I was
that's
doing
that's
the.
a beautiful tribute. Yeah.
Thank you, man. So I was doing these side jobs, and I was working at two men in a truck. I met one of my best friends that now owns a moving company right alongside me. He's in the moving army. His name's Nikhil Murdoch. Shout out to him. I was working with him, doing the side jobs, working at two men in a truck, and then it was like Mother's Day, and I had a Sherwin-Williams internship lined up to do like marketing and sales for them. I was going to college, like finishing in about a year, and like I'd shown I could make a little business, and my dad actually helped. My grandma, oh, he found a moving truck. It was $4,500 Ford Cummins moving truck, and then my grandma, bought the truck for me, and so that was like a huge pivotal moment. I was midterms and I was studying hard, and I was just like, forget all of it. I mean, obviously I studied for the midterms, but I drove my ass to Monterey, went, bought this old moving truck. I'd never like driven anything like it. It's a 1997 Ford Cummins, like an old truck, but it was, bright orange. And everyone calls it orange. Even that I after painted it like, it's 5 years later, they still call it orange. And so I just like committed to it. It was just like I was graduating, committing to building this business. And I even actually researched franchising a two men in a truck. They wanted $200,000. And like I'm a college kid, I don't got that kind of money on in my back pocket, burning a hole in my pocket. And so I was just like, I'm gonna build this from the ground up, and boots on the ground, and I'm gonna build something great. And so fast forward to 2000, I graduated in 2018, moved back home. Start was kind of like doing those odd end jobs, like stuck at that quarter million. Then I kind of was like getting some referrals in my hometown, getting to that half a million mark. And then there's just a switch that flicked when it was just like relationships, referral marketing. And ever since then, I never looked back. And that's how we've really built the business.
That is such a cool origin story. Like I can see why you lead with that with your PR and stuff because that's so cool. Did I get this right? So your grandma bought you the first truck that you used in moving, and now you're looking at she's just recently passed, and now you're looking at naming a truck after her. Did I connect those dots correctly?
That's right. And we still use Big Orange. Like it's
That's
a great truck. I've got it on the low California low mileage exclusion thing, but the truck still runs to this day. It's painted white. Um, it's been a great truck for us.
That's killer. What's the boldest move you made right around that pivotal time? You're saying I could spend 200K and spin off a franchise here, or I could start my own thing. Those early days, what's the boldest move that you ever made?
Boldest move I've ever done. It was a little bit past that. It was 2021. So you're thinking a little bit into COVID, business is
Mhm.
growing, moving market's good, interest rates are good. I invested, well, I took a big loan out and I invested into, mobile storage. I got 48 units. So 12 units wasn't going to pay for a lease of a yard. I did the math, I did the research. Contacted the whole, suppliers. And then they ship them from China. So each of those units averaged about, I think it was like 5,500 to 6K. So times 48, that's $264,000 gamble on an industry that is in its infancy stage, where there's only pods. There's no other, there's like, I couldn't even find moving companies doing mobile storage. I knew that there were billboards, so I did that. And then on top of that, I got declined from the SBA. I had a $30,000 credit fraud situation going on. So I couldn't get an SBA loan. I had this EIDL loan kind of going on. And then I was like $70,000 short, and I almost bankrupt myself in 2021. I had to wire like it was like 80% of the money, but it was 20% originally. So 20% of, 264, that's like 40K, 40, 50,
Right.
60K. I had to wire that money. And then so I'm like, do I have to call the FBI? My credit's about to fucking, is really destroying me right now. I don't know what I'm going to do. This is super uncertainty. My business is starting to grow. I'm running out of money. And like, I got the EIDL loan approved for an extension that I had to like originally get these units. And then I ended up doubling down even more. I got $120,000 delivery truck on top of that to do it. And
Woo.
now it bankrolls $25,000 a month for our company with, overhead expenses directly attached to it is $7,000 a month. So you look at $18,000 cash flowing in that business just from the mobile storage itself, not the deliveries too, just from the mobile storage reoccurring revenue.
The intestinal fortitude needed to take that kind of a calculated risk. Like what do you tell to a young entrepreneur that's right on that verge? What do you tell them to try to inspire them to like, hey, go bolder, go bigger?
I mean, obviously, like there's value in the data, but only if you take action, right? So you have to know that there's demand for it. You have to know that there's interest that you can execute and that you're going to commit to something. Because if you fully commit to something, you can almost never fail. You just learn from the lesson and get better, or bring people along that can help you. So I think like the biggest issue that I see with people doing big swings is that they don't actually know the data. It's like, I'm going to get this 10,000 square foot warehouse. Well, you don't have $2 million of revenue right now. You're not going to fill it. There's no guarantee. And you didn't do your research on how much it actually costs to execute it. You have $50,000 in racks and a forklift and moving pads and all this other shit that you got to buy. You have no idea what you're doing. You got to get office expenses, all these other things. And I'm like, dude, stay lean and mean and swing the bat when the opportunity presents. Like, and if you have an opportunity to own, make sure the numbers make sense. Like, yeah, I could own a plot of land, but the time to build it is going to take too long. Cash flow is important too. Just make sure cash flow is king. Whatever you do, if it's not cash flowing, it's a liability. So, like, I was at dinner last night with Lauren. We tried this new Mexican food spot out. And I'm like, like almost all day, like I'm focused on income producing activities. Like, how am I growing my income for the company? How are we growing? And not just like money, 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 but like, okay, is it like where are the, like, check this out. So I wrote down, I was doing a strategic thinking session, relationships, like in that realm, like that's it. These are all income producing activities, but like, where in this is the answer that I'm seeking? And so like, and those are needle moving activities that are really going to help you grow. But yeah, and then find a mentor, like too, like someone who's done it. It's like my sister went to college and shout out to Colby, but like she didn't like talk to people in the career path. She didn't look what kind of car they drive, what kind of house they have, how much debt they have. Like, do your research. Most of us like do these gut feeling activities and it's like follow your instincts, but if you don't know truly and have a good understanding of the full of the other side, and there's people out there that already have it, like why wouldn't you get free advice? People want to help. The number one thing that I see is people don't take good advice. They delay action, and it's insane that almost all of America does that.
I love that so much. I want to rewind a little bit because you said so many good things there. I asked you about being bold and making those decisions, and the thing that I love is you're like, it's not just about having the balls to be bold. It's having the brains too, like knowing your numbers, knowing like getting a mentor, watching that cash flow. You got to get in there and do the mental work so that you understand that industry, and then you're making calculated swings rather than just rip your shirt off and just run out of fire. You're going at this in a nice calculated reasonable way, but that gives you the confidence to be bold in that action. You talked about getting a mentor, and I love that, and taking good advice. Where does somebody go to find somebody that they can ask these questions and get this insight?
The first mentor that you're ever going to want is someone local. And I'll give you a simple play to run how to find them. It's going to be go wake up at 4:20 a.m. and get your ass in the gym at 5 a.m., do 20 minutes of cardio, and then go work out. Look for the guys that are disciplined, fit, and athletic. Walk up to them. Dude, you're freaking jacked. Do you own a business? Yeah, what kind of business? Talk to those guys. Those people are the ultra dedicated, highly motivated people in your community right now, hiding away because they're so busy and they do so much action. Those are the people that can point you in the right direction. And then when you do the simple shit is when you should seek more of the niche advice, like simple shit. Join a local chamber of commerce, wrap your pickup, like go to this, introduction to a few different service trades and things that could refer you. Oh yeah, come to the gala with me. Come do this shit. Come look at my business. Okay, like talk to me about XYZ. Like they want to help you. The advice is out there. You just have to seek it and manifest it. Like I literally wanted a social media person. So what did I do? I mean, we tried Indeed. They all sucked. I got pissed off. I went on Facebook and I was like, I'm looking for a social media person. XYZ, you make XYZ per year, and someone I know texts me a referral, and I'm interviewing the person. I talked to him on the phone, sound good, interviewing him next Thursday.
I love that gym recommendation so much. I was not expecting that. That is so practical. I'm honestly going to share that advice with my son. He's right at that point of like, what do I do with my life? Where do I, how do I get away from the knuckleheads I'm hanging out with? And he likes to work out, but it's like get there at 5 a.m. because those are the guys that are so busy creating value in the world that they got to get up at 5 to get their gym time. They're showing discipline. They're there. And guess what? They're going to respect you because you're also there.
Yeah. But if you are looking for mentors in this industry, I mean, there's several events. There's the Titan event. There's my event. Tim Krupp does his own event. Smart Moving's doing their own event. Lauren and I are actually talking about going to like specific states. So it's just states that come to like micro events. But yeah, find, obviously the moving army with what I do, but talk to people that are winning. So like, it's pretty easy. It's called R&D, rip off and duplicate, find someone who's winning and like duplicate what they do. I was like, okay, I want to have an 8-figure business. And I was like, I'm going to dress like an 8-figure entrepreneur. How do they dress? They wear a colored freaking shirt. They wear dress slacks. They have designer freaking shoes. They have a nice watch on. And I'm just like, I look across the industry and I'm like, these motherfuckers don't wear collared shirts. That's why they're stuck at $1 million. They don't take their fucking life seriously. And it kind of makes me angry. I'm like, you complain about all these things, but you don't even like act the part. Like if you want to be the part, act the part. And that attracts mentors too. They're like, damn, like he carries himself like an entrepreneur that I can relate to. He matches my energy, dresses like me. And it's more so like with the business owners with like the moving industry with the collared shirt, because you get placed as the mover, right? And like, I don't want to be the mover, and I don't want the people that I coach to be the mover either. That's like the main thing, is that you get put in this category of commoditization and or commodity category, and like it's not like I'm like an entrepreneur. Like realtors look down on us sometimes, and I'm like I get professionally coached by the same types of people that you get professionally coached. I don't know if you know that about me, but like I'm interested in the same things you are. Like we can talk at this high level. Two
I,
cents
I,
on it.
I can feel your energy, and this is someone that's actually doing this. And I actually want to double click on something. You talked about the moving army, and you talked about all these different shows that in gatherings that people can go to meet other people that are doing the work. And I'll link all those in the description because I think you were shouting them out, and those are awesome resources. But I want to spend a second talking about the moving army because this is where you're coaching and you're giving back. And you've coached hundreds of moving companies and just tons of entrepreneurs. What's one pattern that you see, Austin, in people that are stuck? What's a pattern, and what can they do about it?
That you bring up pattern, because like your current inputs equal your current outputs, right? And to get a new input or new output, you need a new input, right? So I love that you brought that up. It's such a huge thing that people get stuck. The pattern that I see is that they build a brand but they're doing everything themselves. Like they don't trust people. They don't like want to, like, it's easy to do the moving. It's easy to do the sales things yourself. It's hard to actually attract, like other salesmen to come into your business, other leaders, and build other leaders in your business. That's the hard thing because it cuts out of your profit. Like all these guys are like, oh yeah, my closing percentage is like 70%. And it's like, oh, well, first of all, your rates are probably too low. I don't ever want to be at 70%. That means my rates are way too low. And then, so obviously they're not making the revenue right there, but then they're just doing everything themselves, delaying action. Their health is falling apart. Their life is falling apart. Either their marriage is falling apart, or they're not even focused on their personal health or your personal relationships. And they're just stuck. They're overwhelmed. They can't commit to things. And like, I was there. Like the thing is like this isn't a pattern that like I was immune to. Like I didn't catch this cold or like I was there right with them, and I know how frustrating it is. I know it's like you can't focus on anything. It feels like a whirlwind. You're stuck. You don't know what to do, who to trust. Everything's expensive. Cash flow. You have no idea what You know how much is in your bank account, but you don't have anyone on your team to help predict maybe some of the forecast or projections or some historic data. Like you have no one to really rely on. You're on your own, and you're just trying to follow things, and you get everything like super shallow action. That's what I just do that all the time out there. And it's like those are the people I'm uniquely qualified to help, I'd say.
If someone's trying to do everything themselves, just like you said, they're trying to wear every hat. How do they break out of that? How do they learn to delegate and let somebody else do it? Because I'll tell you what, I mean, it's a struggle we all have. When I hand something off to
Yeah.
somebody else, I know it's not going to be done quite the way I would do it. How do they get over that hump?
I think it's a decision mentally. So like you think of like getting over humps. It's your belief, it's your core belief system, right? So your belief that you have to change the way your brain operates on. It's your belief that only I can do it. You're telling yourself, "Oh, I do it the best. I do it." It's like, "So what?" It's like, "I do it the best, but this isn't worth my time." Like if you literally wrote down how much you want to make out of the year. So let's just do 300K, right? Like I want to
Mhm.
make 300K. So let's just do 100K because that's even easier for us to wrap our heads. So I want to make 100K. So $100,000, throwing it on my calculator, divided by 52. Okay, that is $1,900 a week. That's divided by 40 hours. That's going to be $48 an hour that I have to get paid. Now let's look at cost of goods sold as in labor, which is technically
Mhm.
30%. So you're going to just do times 3.33. That's that I have to bill at $160 an hour of my time to make 100K. Is this task worth $160 or like equivalent to it? If it's not, that's something you need to start delegating. because your time and energy can produce $160 an hour, so you can make the 100K. And until you start treating your time at that value, you can't achieve the results that you want to get. And so, like, the more money you want to make, the more time you have to guard, the more you have to delegate. And it's just like a belief on trust. Like, yeah, no one's gonna, like, I have thousands of more problems because I'm not on every move. Yeah, I do flawless moves all the time. My guys screw up all the time. They don't do it as good as me. They say dumb shit. They, all these things. But it's just like, that's why I build leaders around me to help me handle it. Like, they don't tell you, like, here's the thing that no one tells you. It will, first of all, let's rewind. You have to be okay with failures. You have to learn that failures is the way I succeed. The more I fail, the more I succeed. So learning how to fail in incremental size and take those L's, take those punches along the way. So once you now like are like allowing others to do these things, then like you're building someone right next to you to help you handle those. Like damage claims went way up since I stopped being on the trucks. But what did I do? I built someone on my team to help me with the damage claims, so now I don't have to deal with those, and now we can actually grow the business because now my time is spent on helping with some damage claims and building this other person and all the growth activities rather than on the moving trucks all day. Another pattern that I've been seeing, I'm kind of going off tangent, another pattern that I'm seeing though is that they're always thinking you have to promote within. Like, oh, moving's not a dead end job. It's like, moving could just be a stepping stone job, because like, and I'm okay with that. But like my higher level leadership, yeah, it's great if I give them some moving experience. Some people, there's diamond in the roughs, they can elevate through that. But I'm not hiring the same person to be a mover as I am an operations manager or as a salesman. Most of the time, it's hard to go through those ranks. Not everyone has those characteristics. I'm not like, and so I hire for skills now. I don't hire an operations manager that can't freaking type. I think that's the most BS thing ever. Like, if your operations manager can't type without looking at it, you've got the wrong person. You need someone with skills. You need someone to help. And the thing is that if you're only promoting within, your company is capped on your skill level. Like, it's like a bloodline that's just like capped. But you bring in some new blood, you bring in some new skills, the company gets better and you get better with it.
Oh, there's three things that I'm distilling from what you just said that I'm really taking.
Let's cut it down. Let's give them
No. Like at least three things. Here's three things. I love how you pin, instead of just saying delegate, you're saying understand your own value. Break it down to an hourly rate. And if that task isn't worth that hourly rate, hand it off to somebody else. And then second, you're saying build up some calluses that there's going to be some failure, and that means other people aren't going to quite do things to your level, and you're going to have to build in some of the times when they screw up. But then also identifying talent and not just putting somebody on a treadmill and saying, well, if you started here, then you're obviously going to end up here. You've got to get people in that fit the certain skill set so that you do feel confident handing them tasks and delegating. I want to ask you something that I loved. And you said, in this business, if you do the right thing when nobody else is watching, you're going to win. Tell me more about that.
So, I mean, it goes pretty deep. So, like, a mentor, Andy Elliott, once told me, he was like, act as if you're always being videotaped, right? And it's kind of like weird, like what? And I didn't really realize like what he meant until I was like actually being videotaped in the car, and I had a phone conversation with Lauren, and I got like frustrated. I was talking to her sharp and kind of rude, hung up, went back to doing content, and then that part of the call made it into the YouTube video, and I was like disappointed in myself. I was like, dang, like, do I really sound like that? And so like a reflection is like that, like being one dimensional, right, of like who you are all the time, like when no one's looking, then that's really who you are. That's how the public views you, right? So if you just stay in this one character your entire life, that is who you are. But if you have this work version and soft spoken and you come home and you're a total dickhead or all this, like I mean, because the both sides of those like will bleed into each other. So like it comes down to in moving, if we're going to break this down to my moving business, like do the right thing when no one's looking. Like if there's a damage claim on something like that, you're like, they haven't gotten any valuation. Really look at this hard. And like, if this were me and I didn't understand correctly and maybe it wasn't communicated like extra, like, wouldn't you want at least to do like some level of effort, not like go the other way, screw you. Like you'd have a nasty taste in your mouth, like, hey, look, I mean, it's really clear that you signed for this, and we did talk about it. I know it because you had to remove it off this moving estimate, and I can offer you $100 just as like I want to give a gift to you, not because like it's about the damage claim, because this is a gift to you from our company because we want to do the right thing. And I think actions like that are like what, and then, I mean, it didn't solve anything for them, really. Like they're still probably frustrated, but it's a gesture when no one's looking that, like, hey, like, my intention is to do the right thing.
And I love that humility of being able to identify something where you were recorded and you said, I just disappointed myself there. You'll appreciate this. Back when I ran an agency for about a decade, we were going through some security footage at our location to solve some other problem, and we were going through it, and I go walking by, and I'm on the phone, and we're watching, and I'm here with a couple other people, and we're watching this footage. I literally got to watch myself interact with someone on the phone, and it wasn't one of those happy conversations. It was a touchy one, and I was disappointed in myself. I sounded condescending. I was short. I could hear myself stepping on the other person and cutting them off, and just that moment of just, oh, you're kidding me. Like that's, I got to see what I sounded like at my worst when no one was, when I didn't think anyone was watching. And it was just a real eye opener. And I think sometimes like if we can get to that point where who we are in public, who we are when we're our best selves just becomes consistent with who we are in private, I agree. That's when your consistent behavior, at the end, it's going to be inevitable that you're going to win. You've been super generous with your time, and I want to ask you just one more question because I'm
Let's
really
go.
intrigued. I mean, you've got two moving businesses, you've got a coaching business that helps other entrepreneurs. So when you look at 2026, we've got 7, 8 more months in front of us, right? Of 2026. What's one thing that movers need to start doing, and what do they need to stop if they really want to hit that next level?
There's so many things. Like on a sales standpoint, sales is something I teach quite often. I mean, the biggest trainers in this industry. I would say talk to your clients like a five-star resort. We use terrible language. I hate the term locked in. Like, I'm not going to jail. I'm not putting you in prison. So, like, you're not locked into anything. It's make a reservation. Or instead of like we're all booked up, we're previously committed to other clients. So it's just the terms and the language that we use. Yeah, because we were a mover at one point, but like let's talk with educated vocabulary. Let's elevate our status in the client's mind and not sound like every other mover. Like, wow, when I talked to that Austin guy, he just sounded different. How would we make this a five-star experience? You roll out the red carpet, speak to them politely, like, oh, may I do this for you? How could I do this? And then, like, obviously, hotels want five-star reviews at the end, so why don't tell them in the beginning, like, hey, like, at the end of your experience, we appreciate your honest feedback. We'd love for you to have a five-star experience. And if not, if your experience was anything but phenomenal, please let us know directly, and we'd love to change that.
I love that. That's such a great answer to end on here. If people want to connect with you, they want to pick your brain, they want to see what other information you have and resources that you have. What's the best way for them to connect with you, Austin?
Yeah, I mean, I'm my most active platform I'm on is Instagram. So it would be official Austin Yarborough. You can see it on the screen maybe. So official Austin Yarborough. I have a little gift for everyone. If they DM me the word millions, I have this this video recording. It's a webinar on how to scale your business with $0 in paid ads. all towards the things like, Alex Hormozy style, my style, things that I've learned. It's about an hour. It should have minimum $10,000 of value in that one too for you. And so you can keep on winning, and, whether you use Google or not, it can add another level of income for your business, and you can go ahead and grow your brand.
Way to step in here and give us some stuff that not only we could chew on, but stuff that we could use. So for me, I just want to tell you thanks for joining the podcast today. This has been great.
I'll see you guys on Instagram.
All right, for everybody for joining, thank you so much for joining the Snowball Effect Podcast. Austin Yarborough, go follow him on Instagram, official Austin Yarborough. You're going to love this guy, not just his energy, but the brains behind it. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time on the Snowball Effect.